Welcome to the Invincibles with Nidhika Bahl. And today in the studio, I have with me a director and head of sales of a financial services company and an author of the Amazon bestseller called Sales Booster. Let's welcome Mr. Nimesh Mehta to the show. Hello, Nimesh. Lovely to have you with us.
Hi, Nidhika. Pleasure is mine.
So, Nimesh, tell me, what has been happening with you lately? Like, what's happening in your personal life or professional life? Why don't you share that with our audiences?
I'll just start a little from earlier days. Uh, I'm an ordinary man with an extraordinary determination.
Right.
I believe I'm God's favorite child, and therefore nothing has come easy to me in life.
I love that, yes.
Right from childhood, I had to earn my way in every area of life, and therefore today I believe that I've developed the strong willpower and determination. Proud to share the way I bounced back from a couple of very depressing and painful situations in life.
Yes.
In corporate life, I have started working as a door-to-door sales commission earning salesman
Oh my.
to have become a head of sales a couple of years back.
Wow.
I'm proud to share I'm the only sales leader in the country to have written a book on selling
Not just a book, an Amazon bestseller.
and while on job. I'm also consciously trying to consciously trying to bring conscious a balance in life.
Right.
And therefore, it feels nice when people around my company, peer, friends, and industry people tell that I'm a very balanced leader and a person.
Amazing. That's amazing. So, are you ready to get started with the interview?
Sure.
Awesome. That takes us to section 1, which is called Where It All Began. So, Nimesh, tell me, I think I read in your book that few months into your job, I think you were just about 19 years of age when life came to a complete standstill for you. I think the date was 23rd October 1998, is that right? You met with a tragic accident. And, it left you just lying flat on your back. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what exactly happened that day and, what transpired post that?
Yes, I still remember 23rd October 1998 as if it was just last week.
I can imagine.
It rained unusually on that day, and I was riding back from my Godrej Vikhroli plant to my home in Vileparle East. I was crossing the Kalina CST road when I saw a company contract bus coming very fast in my side of the lane.
Right.
And as he got near, I just stopped and waited for him to cross it.
Right.
And when he tried to get in his lane, is when I think his tire went into a small pothole, and then he put the emergency brakes on.
Ouch.
When he put that emergency brakes on, the bus skidded a few 50 meters, and the iron rod, the bumper on the back of the bus, struck my right leg and took everything away between the ankle and the knee.
My God.
I became unconscious and fell in an open gutter. I remember having regained some consciousness around 10 p.m. When I opened my eyes, I was in the emergency ward of a Sion hospital. I saw all the nurses and 10 doctors, 10, 12 doctors attending me.
Right.
And I look at my left, I saw my parents crying. As I was absorbing and inquiring what actually happened, one of the doctors said, I think the dirt of the gutter water has gone so deep inside the wound that we might have to amputate the leg. Listening this, I got scared, and when I tried to ask them a question, I was immediately put in anesthesia.
Right.
And that put me asleep. The next I remember is got up at 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm shaking my head. I'm closing my eyes and opening my eyes, hoping to come out of this bad dream. Only after about 10 minutes I realized that it was not a bad dream, but a reality that I might have to live a very handicapped life. Over the next 1 year period of time, I've gone through 11 surgeries, 7 major and 4 small surgeries. One of them was Elizarov, where 16 stainless pipes were pierced through my bone and they were covered by a ring around. I was made to walk every single day with that. The intent was to grow the bone 0.1 millimeter every single day.
Ouch.
I had to walk it for almost 6 to 7 months' time. And apart from this surgery, what I'm reminded is every single day I had to clean my wound with the spirit, and that wasn't very easy.
I mean, you were very young, isn't it? And probably the worst possible physical and mental trauma a young person can have. I mean, you were in your early 20s, late
21.
21, right? So um, how did you deal with and overcome that, the entire period? I think you were as you said, you were in the hospital for almost a year. That must be very, very painful for a young person to be tied down, not knowing what's happening next, and just about started your career and you're on the bed. So how did you overcome that phase of life?
I think three things that comes to my mind. First, believe in God. I always believed that God has planned everything right for me, but I had to find the reason why this incident happened to me. Second, I think the doctors, the staff, the nurses of the Sion Hospital kept motivating me every single day for me to come back.
Wow.
The third and the most important thing is blessed to have a wonderful, caring family and the school friends, the building friends, all of them who stood with me like a rock.
Right.
And I think I owe this recovery to all of them. And when I kept trying to ask God the reason behind this, after about 6 to 7 months' time, I read in the newspaper about the MBA entrance examination. I
Okay.
thought this is what God wanted me to do it, and I immediately enrolled into it.
What are you saying? You mean you studied for your entrance while you were in the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how do you focus and concentrate in a situation like that? I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, hospital is not the ideal environment. You know how MBA kids are, right? They want this peaceful environment, their own study, don't disturb me. And hospital can be very depressing. How did you?
So just to correct, I was not all throughout the year in the hospital. I was in
Okay.
and out of the hospital, and the
Okay.
whole journey happened for about a year. Again, I would say a couple of things. I think first, because of the love and the caring of my parents and my family members, I decided to bounce back in life.
Mm.
Second, my 1.5 years of experience with Godrej suggested that if I will not do a full-time MBA, I may not grow, higher up in the
High up.
corporate ladder.
Right. Right.
And third, I think the MBA entrance examination allowed me to focus or channelize my thoughts
Energy.
on studies
Mm.
instead of my mind going back into the very negative thoughts of how will I live a handicapped life, who will marry me, will I play cricket again, and therefore the studies helped me to channelize my energy.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell me, I'm sure as easy as it sounds today, it must have been really hard getting back to life, maybe probably even learning to walk again, right? Because, I mean, it's like learning to reuse your leg again because it's probably damaged so badly. And then, of course, studying for the MBA, then clearing the MBA, and then restarting a career all over again because I believe you were in your first job when all this happened. So how did it's very traumatic and it comes with a lot of pain. So how did you cope with that?
Slowly, gradually, I had got connected to spirituality,
Mhm.
and the couple of things which changed my life during the accident phase. And the first thing was to stop complaining, cribbing, and forgiving everyone, including the bus driver.
Right.
After a couple of years, I withdrew my case against the bus driver.
Right.
Initially, I wanted him to go through, because what had happened to my life, and I wanted to give him a punishment that what he went me
Correct.
through there.
Correct.
But spiritually taught me, to forgive. And when I withdrew my case, he actually came up to me and said, Saab, last 4 5 years, I have not got any job because of
Oh
this
my God.
case, and my life, my family was dependent on it. And when I freed him from the court case, I actually felt very relaxed and very happy around.
I can imagine.
Second is, spirituality taught me to accept responsibility in life.
Mm.
As soon as I said, I am responsible for this situation, what has happened in life, everything turned around.
Right.
Suddenly, life started to have so many opportunities, and this is where I kept putting one after another, and the life moved on. I said in my chapter 1 of the book, and I would like to share with all here, when God wants to give you a gift, He
Right.
wraps it up in a problem.
Right.
And what God wants to give you a bigger gift, He wraps it up in a bigger problem.
Thing that what is I'm sure spirituality taught you a lot of good things like you just said, but in this inward journey that you made, I'm sure you learned a lot of life lessons which have allowed you to build a life and career of your dreams. Is there any particular lesson that you believe is so important that everybody must follow to create a magical life for themselves?
Absolutely. Spirituality or Vedanta taught me the universal principle of life.
Right.
It's called law of karma. somebody calls the law of cause and effect, and
Yes.
somebody says law of sowing and reaping.
Right.
So whatever you sow is what you reap. And it also says whatever you're reaping today is something what you've sown in the past.
Correct.
It beautifully says that if you want to reap a different harvest in the future, then you have to plant different seeds today.
Right, right.
My Swamiji, Swami Parthasarthi says beautifully, you are the architect of your fortune. You are also the architect of your misfortune.
Correct. Very nice. Beautiful. So tell me, Nimesh, in your book, you also mentioned that during, the rehabilitation period, you gained a lot of weight. I think you were weighing almost 100 kilos and a 40-inch waist for a really, really long time. Trust me, I'm already embarrassed asking you this question, but I have to ask you, how did you shed all those kilos? And most importantly, how did you keep them off?
This is another incident which transformed my life in the area of health and fitness.
Mhm.
When I was 100 kgs, I used to have regular problems of regular digestive disorders, acidity, heartburns, headaches, fever, and so on and so forth. I would have tried all kinds of diet programs, the GM diet, the keto diets, all kind of. I would have joined the training programs, a personalized trainer in the gym, so on and so forth. And everything worked for a while.
Yeah.
As soon as I left it,
Correct.
I found myself 1 to 2 kgs higher than what it was when I did that.
Trust me, I've been on that seesaw
And then
myself.
I wanted to get rid of this acidity problem, so I ended up being at the yoga ashram at Santa Cruz East.
Right, right.
And for me, the transformation happened on Sunday morning in a satsang on health and happiness. I'm going to share with quickly the 4 learnings
Sure.
that will transform my life.
Sure.
First, the yoga teacher said, imagine a 5 kilo washing machine, and if you put 7 kilo of clothes, how would that wash me? And we all answered that, the clothes will not get washed properly, the machine will not function, the dirt will not go away, so on. And then she quickly said, imagine now you're putting 3 kilo or 4 kilo clothes in a 5 kilo washing machine. How would the wash? We said the clothes will get turned very beautifully, the dirt will go out and the machine will function well. I said, okay, beautiful. And I said, your stomach is nothing but a half kilo, 1 kilo or 2 kilo washing machine.
Correct.
Every time you put more than what is capacity is there, you will gain a lot of weight around your stomach and the thigh area. And like a washing machine, in the longer run, your stomach will not function if you keep continuing to put more and more.
Right.
Second, to highlight the quality of food, she invited one of the lady participants with us and asked her to break a maida roti, which was kept open for a long period of time.
Right.
And the lady had to actually put a pressure to break into smaller pieces. And then the yoga teacher said, imagine this small maida roti in the intestine and how difficult it is to digest for your body, the kind of maida roti, the pizza or burger, something which we eat so much nowadays. Third, she insisted we should have 4 to 8 meals in a day and at least have 10 to 14 glasses of water. But most importantly, she highlighted, you should finish your last meal before 7 or 7:30 p.m. That was something like, how is it possible in today's corporate world at 7:30 p.m.? But today, 9 out of 10 times, I finish my meal before 7 p.m.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And this one habit of eating at 7:30 p.m. helped me lose 3 to 4 kgs in the first month itself.
Wow.
Fourth, she recommended we all should do yoga, play, walk, run, or exercise 1 hour each day for 4 to 5 days a week.
Right.
Being a sportsman, I decided to play sports, and that actually helped me and motivated me to get up in the morning, something that could never happen to me when I was supposed to go in the gym.
Right. Of course, yes.
So today I have aligned all my sports targets with my daughter. My daughter is learning tennis, so I learn tennis with her. My younger daughter is learning swimming, so I learn swimming with her. Not only do I, achieve my 6-hour target to every week, but also I get a time to bond with my daughters.
Amazing.
To sum up, I think nothing works in the longer run but changing your lifestyle. When I changed my lifestyle, I'm happy to share that over the 1 year period, roughly about 1 year period, I lost about 25, 26 kgs. Today I'm weighing 74 kgs and about 33 inches. And the satisfaction is not about losing this weight, but obviously when you said you're retaining the weight. But for me, the satisfaction is that I haven't seen a doctor for the last 11 to 12 years.
Awesome. That's amazing. I think that's unheard of in today's day and age, right? So that's wonderful. So congratulations on that. And now I need to ask you a lot of questions on how you wrap up this entire experience in spirituality and, how do you bring that to your work? So we're going to go into segment 2, which is called the Midas Touch. So, Nimesh, in your book Sales Booster, you talk about 5 elements of human success in any field, and you gave it a fabulous acronym called BADGE. And could you like share it with my viewers? What this BADGE stands for and how they can use it in their life to create massive success for themselves.
So B stands for belief, A stands for attitude, D for discipline, G for goals, and E for effectiveness or productivity.
Right.
And I'm going to share with you these 5 elements of human success in the field by sharing my own example of writing and publishing the book.
Okay.
So believe. In Bhagavad Gita, it's beautifully said, a man is made by his belief. As he thinks, as he believes, so is he. Similarly, I was always wanted to write a book for more than 1 decade. But only when I believed I could.
Right.
The attitude part, I think I was almost an average student all my life. And therefore, when I publicly declared that I'm going to write a book, a lot of people raise questions whether do I have the experience, do I have the capability, do I have the intelligence to write the book.
Right.
I'm again proud to share that with a positive attitude, I could complete writing a book
Right.
and publishing my first book. Third, the D, the discipline. I'd like to quote Albert Hubbard here, who beautifully said, self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do it, when you should do it,
Right.
whether you feel like it or not.
Or not, yes.
And therefore, I realized that to write a book, I will have to drop all the other things. So I stopped watching movies, sports.
Correct.
And all my friends were unhappy because I almost didn't see them for 2 years.
Correct.
I had to drop down every single thing which distracted me from there. And I had to have the self-discipline to put in about 8 to 10 hours every single week in writing around the book. Fourth is G, the goal setting. I think everybody should really set goals, and I do that every single year. In Jan 2016, I set up a goal that I'm going to write my first book and complete it before December 2016. While I didn't achieve the target, it took me more than 12 to 15 months to finish that. I published in Feb 2018. But I am confident just because I wrote that goal, I could achieve that
You
goal.
could achieve it, right.
Lastly, effectiveness. I think to improve, I kept on, learning. I joined a writing course. I did coaching and training. I kept reading books. I kept listening to audiobooks just to see how I can improve my writing every single day.
Right.
And I'm glad that again, I could finish my first book while on the job again.
Amazing.
So if I believe that every single person will be able to achieve in any area of life if they follow this badge principle.
Amazing. So, Nimesh, tell me, you're this living example or testimony, as they would call it, of right attitude, growth mindset, self-discipline, and mental toughness. How do you translate these facets of your personality to your work?
So as I said, I've just been the salesman for 20 years.
Right.
Let's apply the badge principle in sales itself.
Okay.
First, believe. I think in sales, the primary condition for everyone to be successful is to have belief in your own products, services,
Correct.
or company.
Yeah, if you cannot be
Yeah.
your best customer, then it makes no sense.
If you can't buy your product, you can never be a great salesman.
Absolutely.
I meet so many entrepreneurs and I meet so many salespeople who tell me that they've not been able to achieve success.
Right.
And when I probe a little very simply, they are not confident about their own product.
Right.
Second, in terms of attitude, I'd like to quote again, sales is contingent upon the attitude of a salesman and not the attitude of a customer who will always keep thinking negative, pessimistic, and keep
Correct.
throwing you all the other things there. And the attitude differentiates the person. Self-discipline, again, to follow up with the old customers, keep meeting new customers.
Right.
If you don't do that, doesn't work. Goal setting, I think every salesperson should write his goals on paper, what he wants to achieve there.
Yeah.
Effectiveness, only and only when you read books, you go to training programs, you listen to audiobooks.
Personal growth is
personal
very
growth will
important.
happen.
Yes.
And also you'll bring in newer dimensions, newer ways of doing selling.
Correct.
So as I said, this badge principle can be implemented and I bring this to work every single day.
Right. So, Nimesh, tell me, earlier you spoke about work-life balance, when I asked you to introduce yourself in the beginning. And most leaders in the corporate and the SME sector would say that work-life balance is a myth, it's not possible. But despite the fact that you work in a senior leadership position in your organization, and you're considered one of okay, so you work for a financial services company, which is considered one of the most stressful, consulting and IT are supposed to be very, very stressful organizations to work with. But yet, in every single keynote of yours, you talk about work-life balance. Whenever you speak, you yourself said that I'm a balanced leader. How do you do that? Like, how do you create this balance for yourself?
I think this is very close to my subject, very close to my heart. And I believe it's a misnomer that we cannot have a work-life balance. And I can just give a quickly example. There are a lot of CEOs of banks who move out by 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock every single day.
Correct.
Now, again, I like to thank spirituality because that brought clarity in my life, and that clarity, I think, is missing in most of the corporate people today.
Correct.
They don't know what they want out of life. I think most things happen is that they want to chase money.
Right.
And when you chase money, you'll always believe that work-life balance is a myth. Now, I'm reminded again of spirituality. Is very beautifully said. Life is too short to learn everything yourself. And therefore, you should learn from other people's experience.
Right.
Learn from other people's success and learn from other people's failures. Just to quickly tell you two incidences which are very relevant today. I met one of the chairman of the listed company and asked him a question, what's your regret in life? And he said, I should have spent more time, I should have spent time with my child when they were young.
Right.
Okay, today they become teenagers, and when I have time, they don't have time for myself.
Right.
And then he's waiting for his grandchildren to really, enjoy the childhood.
Correct.
You see why the grandparents get along very well with the kids?
Correct.
Because they could never spend
they
time
have
with
a common
the kids.
enemy.
Second, a CEO and MD of a multinational company
Right.
told me his regret was that he could not spend time with his parents when they were ill and when they were old. Unfortunately, they expired. And he's living today with a very heavy heart that he was not there.
Guilt. Yeah.
Now, what does it teach? Both these incidences have left a profound meaning for each one of us. With this and spirituality, I've created 7 elements of a very happy, balanced, and fulfilling life. Just quickly touch. First element is the work. I think more than 50% of our time we spend, the active life we spend around work. And therefore, it's important that we have to be successful. We need to be doing very well in our job or our entrepreneurship, whatever is there, just to keep that life going.
Right.
Second, the family relationships there. I think 85%, and this is what I read, 85% of life happiness comes from a happy, healthy relationship with your parents, with your wife, with your kids, with your friends, everybody around. Everybody wants to do it, but nobody is able to spend time. You see what happened with the chairman of the company. Third is health. You may have 100 crores in the bank, but if you don't have a good health, you'll not be able to enjoy the wealth or anything what you're doing. In my job, I keep meeting a lot of very rich people, and I just reminded of a client whom I had met. At 57, he's caught up with Alzheimer. He's about 40 crores, 50 crores in bank, but his daughter does not live with him, and only people who meet regularly is the wealth managers. Fourth element is giving back or philanthropic. I think the ultimate satisfaction can come in life only when you give back. Just happened to be giving, blood and platelet donation a couple of days back at Tata Cancer Hospital. I slept beautifully that night. Everybody wants to do it, but wants to remove time for it. The fifth is the spiritual element, which for me has brought the clarity and priority, a direction and meaning in life. Sixth is the individuality, something very unique for yourself. My Swamiji calls this Swadharma. Something which you are born in life.
Right.
I'm born in life to play sports. You may be born in life to reading, music, or what is there. And therefore, if you can keep and attach or be in touch with that, there'll always be meaning in life. And the last part is the self-learning and development. Only and only if you keep learn and develop yourself is when there's meaning. Even say like a homemaker, she'll be tired cooking the same way or cooking the same way of food. She'll have to bring a different element because she's trying to do differently. That's what's required. And therefore, I believe that once I got this priority in life, clarity in life, I prioritize all this clarity in my calendar. I just put that in the calendar, and then it's just pure execution and enjoying every single moment of the life. So for Sunday, you're spending 5 hours with my daughters and enjoying with them.
Amazing. Lovely. I think a lot of leaders will get a lot of lessons there. But tell me something, most of the corporate or the SME leaders don't ever write a book. And even if they do, it's usually they're using it as a transition tool to move from a job, so quit their job and venture out on their own. Do you also have a similar plan?
I always wanted to be a practicing sales leader and author.
Right.
I wanted to be a living example of my book.
Lovely.
Okay. A lot of corporate leaders would have left into the corporate after writing the book. But for me, the true character of a person, and for me, is if I can continue to practice in staying in the middle and implement all the sales strategies and the leadership trade, I have shared in the book.
Amazing.
So no intent to join training and corporate consultant, which I keep getting offered many times.
So, I remember you telling me that you also do mentoring for the MBA students. You go and do guest lectures as well. So, it's very interesting for me because you want to remain in your job. You're not looking at starting a training career, but yet you mentor these students. So, what inspires you to do that?
Two things. First, I think everybody wants to give back.
Right.
Okay, where you belong. So I want to go back and give back to my college. Second, I just like to quote a quote which I spoke in the book as well. If you want to learn something,
Right.
read about it.
Right.
If you want to understand something, write about it. And if you want to master something, teach about it.
Teach about it.
In spirituality, it says you become what you teach, and you can teach only what you are.
True. So,
Yeah. So when we try and explain a concept or a principle or share your learning with someone else,
right.
with the intent that they understand, actually you understand and internalize much better than anyone else.
Correct.
So when I publicly declare that I want to or I practice 6 hours of walk or run or swimming or playing tennis every day, my subconscious mind has registered it, and it helps me at different point in time. So about a couple of weeks back, a very busy week, my subconscious mind on Friday night tells me that this week you only burned 3 hours. To find out around the 3 hours. The conscious mind quickly finds out ways. So got up at 5 o'clock on Saturday morning, burn 2 hours, and a Sunday 1 hour, and ensure that I achieve that 6 hours.
Amazing. Lovely.
Similarly, that's what in a personal life example, when I go and share the sales concepts or leadership traits or whatever I've learned in life, I actually internalize it. Correct. And I become a living example of all the things what I'm sharing.
Superb. So I think it's been amazing learning these life lessons from you, but I have lots of other questions. So we're going to move into our segment 3 called In a Minute. So this is the rapid fire round, traditional, quick answers, one-liners, one words, okay? We'll go really fast. Your life in 3 words.
Dreams come true.
Okay. What is the greatest lesson that you've learned?
Love and accept yourself.
Lovely. An idea that changed your life?
It has to be spirituality.
Amazing. Your morning rituals?
1 hour of sports and maybe about 15-20 minutes of reading.
Okay. Key elements of happiness. I think you already gave us those. Let me ask you something else. Best advice you've ever received?
I think love and accept yourself. I would come back again.
Okay.
Because you can accept people around you only and only to the extent you accept and love yourself.
Fair enough. All right. One thing you wish you could change about yourself?
Sleep more.
Okay. So there is a little imbalance, huh? Okay. What is the one thing that differentiates an ordinary salesman from a great man?
Self-discipline.
Okay. 3 books that everyone must read.
I may be biased. It's Governing Business and Relationships, Vedanta Treatise, and Bhagavad Gita by Swami Parthasarathy.
How sweet. I thought you were going to say Sales Booster.
I
okay. How do you want people to remember you?
A fighting sports person, a family man, and a balanced leader.
Okay. Something no one knows about you.
I fear speaking to girls.
Really? You do? You're talking to one right now. Okay. All right. So on that note, are you ready to play a game with me?
Sure.
Awesome. So we'll move into our next segment called Take 5. So what we're going to do in this segment, Nimesh, is I'm going to give you 5 adjectives related to success, and you have to give me the first person, idea, thought, philosophy that comes to your mind with that word, okay? Now, the person could be a celebrity or somebody known to you closely.
Okay.
Cool? The first one is visionary.
My guru, Swami Parthasarathy.
Okay. Disciplined.
It has to be my father. I mean, he's a role model to me and everybody around in our family.
How sweet. Hardworking.
Narendra Modi comes to my mind. I think there's nobody else who's working hard, or I've seen working harder than him, what he's done.
Okay. Inspiring.
For all my life, it was Sachin Tendulkar. But over the last couple of years, I think Virat Kohli inspires me more going forward.
Okay. Caring.
Undoubtedly, my wife Shilpa.
Oops.
Who to me,
I think everybody is watching, all the women like, oh my God, that is so sweet. I wish my
she's
husband would do that.
but for me, she's an epitome of love and caring
How
for me
sweet.
and in our life.
How sweet. So I'm sending a lot of love to Shilpa through this video. So do share with her, okay? Awesome. And that's going to take us to the next segment called Show Them What You Got. In this segment, this is going to be like hardcore Viva sales testing for you, okay?
Lovely.
All right. I'm going to give you challenging objection handling situations typically a salesperson may deal with. And you have to give me your quick comebacks on those.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to play the dirty customer basically. All right.
Okay.
I'm not interested in your product or service.
Just 1 minute. I'd like to share this in a book as well. Objections are important because
Right.
it generates, it shows the buyer interest.
Correct. It
And
does.
objections, I am sharing that is objections are an opportunity to understand the customer's mind about your product and services. And therefore, I will, in a way, quickly ask a question back to you to know what's your thought of mine. So can you just repeat the point one you
Sure.
said?
I'm not interested in your product or service.
Okay, I got that. Could you tell me why is that you are not interested in a product?
Good one. Okay. Next one. All right. I think this is going to be tough. We already have what you are offering.
Thank you. I got that. So now, since you're existing user of a similar product, could you suggest me what are the improvements you'd like to see in this kind of product? As I said, I would like to peeping into what you're trying to think there.
Okay,
That's
all right.
the way I'll try and.
Okay. Nimesh, thank you so much, but your product is too expensive.
Okay, ma'am, I got that. But it is expensive compared to what?
Okay, fair enough. So you're going back into the mind. All right. Okay, I have a few more. All right, few more. All right. The decision maker is not in the office.
Thanks for informing me. Could you tell me who is that decision maker and when is he expected to be back here?
Okay, fair enough. Your product or service is not as good as the competitor XYZ.
Thank you. I got that feedback. But could you tell me what are the missing points in a product?
Interesting. Okay, last one. All right. You're doing well so far, huh? Nimesh, really good. Head of sales, yeah. Okay. You have 1 minute to tell me why I should listen to you further.
So, ma'am, I believe you would like to use every minute of your day well.
Yes.
And therefore, you would like to know how a product will improve minute by minute productivity of your staff in the company. Your competitor just installed our product and he found 30% improvement in the minute by minute productivity of his team.
Awesome.
Would you like to know how?
Awesome. I'd love to know. Thank you so much. I think you did fairly well. You got to give me a high five on that one. Awesome. Lovely. Okay, so that's going to take me to the next segment called the Social Connect. Okay, Nimesh, I think with all this wonderful sharing, the inspiring life story that you have, and the amazing sales comebacks that you just made, I'm quite sure a lot of people, especially the ones who are selling products, maybe network marketing companies, who knows, might be interested in connecting with you and getting you as a speaker, right, on their forum, and maybe some universities and colleges since you do guest lecturing. So why don't you share with me and our audiences, if somebody wanted to connect with you, what would be the best way?
So, a couple of places. I have my website, www.nimeshmehta.net.
Okay.
You can connect me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Fairly active there. And you should be able to find me because I'm the only author at the moment on the selling.
Okay.
And on the Twitter handle, @Nimesh K. Mehta. I'm happy to connect.
Lovely. That's amazing. So thank you so much, Nimesh, for being on the show. And I have this little beautiful trophy for you. It's called the Invincibles with Nidhika Bahl trophy. And it's being given to you in appreciation and recognition of your amazing journey of success. And especially for being such a fighter, at the hospital. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. And thank you so much, everybody who's watching. I'm sure Nimesh's story must have inspired you. Please do share it, like and comment on this story, and especially share it on your Facebook walls, because trust me, you don't know who's fighting a disease or who's dealing with an accident or a physical trauma or a mental trauma, and this story may inspire them to come out of that and do their best and rise to the heights of success in their life. So do keep watching, and if you're watching this show for the very first time, please subscribe to our page and also subscribe to Nimesh Mehta's page. And we'll be back shortly with another great episode of The Invincibles with Nidhika Bahl.